We're Sarah and Ben. Welcome to our journey to van life.
Thanks very much for being here with us. To follow our journey from how we turn this into this, please like, subscribe and click the little notification bell. And we'll see you out there on the road sometime.
We want a really nice comfortable bed in our camper van, and after lots of research we found that the Ikea bed bases and this Ikea Lunset bed base were absolutely perfect. Just the right size and easy to cut down and modify for a perfect fit. And that bed base was perfectly complemented with this Morgadal Ikea memory foam mattress, which we could also cut down to size to make it the perfect fit in the back of the van. Oh, this is the bed in situ. You can see how we built it with the aluminium which is supporting it. I don't know if you can just see it, that angle line there, aluminium angle, runs all the way along both sides, and you can see how this 50mm aluminium beam is supported on this aluminium angle, which, I don't know if you can just see that tab at the back there, goes down. There's another one here, and that goes down and is welded to the angle and bolted into the side of the van, and that supports the bed down both sides at just the right height. So this 50 by 25mm aluminium beam is what I've used to support the bed base. I welded a strip of aluminium to the bottom of it to provide the vertical support for the beams, and you can see here that the welds would have interfered with the wooden side beams of the bed base. So using this round cutter on the router, I've taken out little pockets to coincide with where the welds were, so that the wooden beams would sit perfectly flush in that beam. So this is the wood going into position. I cut 50mm off the length of every single one of the wooden slats and about 100mm off the length of the side pieces in order to make it fit the space absolutely perfectly. And after rolling out the mattress, we unzipped the cover and Sarah was able to take that away to make it a bit smaller, and I got to work on cutting the foam smaller. Here's the finished bed. I've fitted this bulkhead panel next to the fridge and the storage area here. So to access the bed, you simply go up here and onto there. There's the extended side pods on both sides, giving us that extra space so that we can sleep sideways. Just pull back the covers on the bed, and here's the mattress cover, which Sarah was able to modify. You saw that we cut 4 inches off the width of the mattress, and Sarah was able to take off this cover, which just zips off, and remake it 4 inches smaller and a couple of inches smaller at the end. So we've ended up with what looks like a perfect mattress. It is a perfect mattress, but it's actually a little bit smaller than it was when it came from the shop. And lifting up the mattress, there's the bed base all in place, and you can see the garage area down underneath. After an earlier video where we spoke about security on the van, I'd mentioned that I'd put the OBD, or the onboard diagnostics socket, in a secure steel case. If they can access the OBD port, people can use that to reprogram a blank key and steal your van. So this is going to make it a lot more difficult for anybody to do that. Just one thing to remember if you secure your OBD port, that when you take your van for an MOT or any other work at a garage, make sure you open it for them or leave them the key. That was a lesson that I learned when taking the van to a garage for an MOT test, and the mechanic phoned me up about an hour after I got home to say we can't do it because your OBD port's locked. Onto the shower enclosure now. So this is the inside of the access door for the toilet, and you can see that the structure of the van, where there's the insulation around the outside, is open here, so this needed sealing before we could move on. Now it's all nicely sealed using that silver tape onto the vapour barrier, and then I made this aluminium frame around there so it's strong as well as watertight. And this would protect from any leaks that may come through the door, and also any spillages that occur when you're emptying the toilet. The shower enclosure made with 12mm plywood, using that plastic shower base as the guide for the size and location. This is an attempt to strengthen this really quite flimsy plastic tray. I was still left with these gaps around the edge where the tray seals to the toilet, and I really didn't want to just fill these with silicone. So my solution was to throw away that plastic tray, get the old trusty TIG welder out and some sheets of aluminium, and make myself a new tray made exactly to the right size and dimensions, and something that I knew I could trust would always be watertight. This is that new tray in place with a little cutout at the back for the access to the toilet door. And now I'm trimming the inside of the shower enclosure using this plastic wallboard. Bit of welding rod wrapped around the end of a pen, I can mark the edge of this panel so that I can cut a template which I know is exactly the same shape as the side of the van. this is the finished toilet. Now this is the seal that I was concerned about. This seal between the toilet and the wall. You can see even now there's a small gap behind there. There's plenty of silicone behind it, but I really wasn't confident that the seal there would be absolutely watertight, and so that's why I made the frame around the outlet to catch any water that might seep down there, just to make sure it wasn't going to be a problem in the future. So this basically just makes a gutter over the top of here, so any water that runs down the wall at the back would go into this little channel, run around the sides and down into the tray. The roof of the van has another sheet of 12mm plywood, this time with a hole in it for the extractor fan. Now, similar to the toilet access door, when you cut a hole for an extractor fan, you're also left with a space that you've got to make good around the insulation. So I chose again to use a piece of aluminium welded into this ring shape that would bridge that gap and be able to make a perfect seal up to the fan. So this small duct was then glued to the 3D printed components on the roof using Sikaflex and fitted to the vapour barrier with silver tape. Now you may remember in an earlier video I had this problem of the fan that was coming on too powerfully, and it was actually sucking the door into the cubicle area. I've managed to solve that by fitting on my control panel here, where here's the button for the bathroom light and fan. I've now fitted this speed controller. It's actually, the wiring goes down to this controller here, so when you go into the shower you can turn on the fan at a low speed, and that's absolutely fine while you're showering. Not sure if you can see that the fan's operating there. So while you're showering you can have it on that low setting so that it's not damaging the door, and then when you're finished you can open up again and turn it up so that the high-speed fan will completely clear the steam from the area. Really pleased with that. Seems like a good solution. Now inside, and this is going to be a bit difficult to show, but I've used this rolling roll door, bespoke made door frame. It actually works extremely well. It just rolls up into this cassette here and makes a completely watertight cubicle when it's closed. Well, this is the finished shower enclosure. I'll just bring you in here so you can see. Now, the rolling door simply slides open and there's the shower all inside there. You can see this panelling which catches the light quite nicely and makes a really nice waterproof lining throughout the whole of this cubicle area. The toilet on the floor there and the homemade aluminium shower tray. Well, really hope you're enjoying these videos. If you are and you want to see some more, don't forget to like and subscribe, and there'll be plenty more coming along very, very soon. See you next time.